Hi, my name is Paul Sundin and I'm with Emparian. Today we're going to talk about how you set up a defined benefit plan or cash balance plan. There's a variety of steps that are going to be involved in setting these plans up. There's a general order to how these plans work, but today we're going to talk a little bit about the traditional process and how you would go through setting up and establishing the plan. But before I jump in, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you have a comment or anything, leave it below in the description section. We do review the comments from time to time and answer any questions. So let's now jump in. So if you've heard about a defined benefit plan or cash balance plan, and you're trying to see if it's right for you, see if you kind of meet the criteria first of all. Do you have high income, a few $100,000 a year more? Are you a little bit older in age? Can you commit to a plan for the next several years? Is this kind of a retirement goal? Are you in a high tax bracket? Maybe you're in a high taxing state like California or New York. These plans can make a lot more sense in those situations. So kind of see if it generally makes sense. Then I would also reach out to your CPA. Now this plan might have been brought to you by your CPA. I will tell you a lot of CPAs don't understand specifically how these plans work. But if you're introducing this to your CPA, make sure you update him or her on how these plans, get an idea how they work. Make sure you guys understand the structure and how they would fit within your situation. Once you feel you're ready to proceed, the next step would be to look at a plan illustration. So all you need to do is reach out to a TPA, a third-party administrator like us or other folks. Typically they'll give you an illustration up front. These illustrations will kind of give you estimated funding levels. They're typically very good for year one planning. Obviously in subsequent years the amounts can change based on a variety of criteria, but an illustration at least will put this to paper so you and your CPA can review it again and see if it makes sense. Make sure that you communicate with your administrator or the TPA, really what you're looking to accomplish in year one, because I know when we run illustrations, if you really want a high amount in first year, we're going to structure that way. It might hurt you in subsequent years. Likewise, if you really want a low amount in year one or a very consistent, steady return, make sure you inform the TPA of that so that you get an illustration that really fits your situation. After that, looks like you're ready to roll. Customize the plan. There's a few things that you can do customizing regarding vesting and entrance dates and things like that. So when you think you've got a funding structure you think that makes sense, ask about any sort of, kind of some of the nuanced details. Again, vesting and a variety of other criteria, eligibility, entrance dates. Maybe you're thinking about putting a spouse on the plan, things of that nature. Make sure you bring some of those customization things up because these plans are very customizable and you can do that on the front end. If you want to change your mind somewhere down the road, that requires a plan amendment. So again, make sure that you kind of review all those things up front. Once you're ready to roll, you'll fill out all the required information. You'll sign all your documents. We use e-signature. I think some of our competitors use e-signature, some don't. But regardless, we can have you electronically sign all your documents, your adoption agreement, and everything like that. If you work with Emparian, the next step is we do an onboarding call with you. At Emparian, of course, like a lot of administrators, we just do the compliance aspect. We're not doing the investments. So a lot of our clients want to use, say, Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard. What we do during the onboarding call is we kind of review your situation, make sure you've got all your documents, answer any questions you might have, review funding levels, talk a little bit about the schedule, the deadlines that you'll have to face. But most importantly, people want to know, well, how do I set up this plan? So we've got detailed instructions how to set these plans up with, again, Fidelity, Schwab, E-Trade, Vanguard as a custodian. So we spend most of our time during the onboarding, even though we don't actually set it up for you, we can kind of show you, help you fill out the application form, give you some tips and tricks that you can do to really get this thing set up and funded. The next step would be your investments. Once you put the money into the plan, you need to know how to invest it. Now these plans come with typically an interest crediting rate around 5%, give or take. So you really want to either be very well versed on how to manage your investments or work with an advisor that really understands how these plans work. So you're going to really want to think through the investment side of it. Once you fund the plan, which will be the next step with your final amount, You're going to follow your investment policy or your investment strategy that you've got to generally mirror that interest crediting rate. Now that you've funded the plan, assuming you've funded the plan before you file your tax returns, including extensions, with the latest date actually being September 15th, as long as you've met all that criteria, make sure you communicate that funding to your accountant so that he or she can actually give you the deduction on the tax return. We know the number one reason these plans are done is because of the tax deduction. So communicating that to your accountant is usually the last step in the process. Filing your tax return, you're good to go. At that point, you can get ready for year two. Okay? Year two typically revolves again around discussing with us and your CPA how your numbers are, what your funding goals are, so that we all can avoid any surprises at the end of the year. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and/or leave a comment below. If you want any assistance in setting up a plan, like I said, one of the first things you want to do is get an illustration and see if it's going to work for you. There is a link down in our comment section to set up an illustration or to receive an illustration from us, even a consulting call, to see if a plan is a great fit for you.